Welcome to B&B Movie Reviews. We are halfway through the year, so you know what that means.
It's time to give you our top films of the year so far and what we are most anticipating for the rest of 2024. Stay right there. B&B is up next. Can you believe it? We are halfway through the year and it still feels like 2024 just began. Well, you know what they say, time flies when you're having fun watching movies. When they're good. Brad and I are here to give you our top picks of the year and what we are most looking forward to moving forward in 2024. All right, Brad, it is June.
Before you say anything more, Bryan, has this been a good year at the movies? Like, compare this to 2023, compare it to, I don't know, 2018. Like, how are you feeling about 2024?
I feel okay. I mean, it could be stronger. I think the year started off a little rough.
Rough. January, Bryan?
Yeah, February.
Let me show you some B&B episodes.
Madam Web. Yeah. It's on Netflix. You want to watch it.
Okay. But that's not on your top five?
No.
Okay.
No. But yeah, no, it started off a little rough. I think once we got to Dune Part 2, which was right at the beginning of March,
you found a good movie.
I found a good movie, yeah. And then it started to kind of roll. April, I thought, was a really good month. And then we got into the summer months, and I had a lot of fun, starting with Fall Guy that kicked off the summer.
Do you have a top 10? Like, if the year were to end right now, do you have a top 10 that you would be satisfied with and go like, you know what, 2024, great year?
No. I have a top 10, but I don't feel confident about a top. I feel confident about a top 5 I have.
Okay.
I do.
All right, well then let's do a top 5. Yeah. I have a good 5.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so let's get into it. So, 2024. So, but wait, actually, before we get into it, how's the year been for you, though?
It's not great.
No.
Like, I think there are some great movies in it, but I think they are few and far between. I really struggled for the first 4 months. Thank goodness for Dune Part 2, which we may or may not be talking about in a few moments. But I feel like this has been a real rough year.
It has been, and I'm hoping, and we'll talk about that in the back half of this show, what we're looking forward to, and fingers crossed that these movies live up to some of our expectations.
Yeah. Come and save us, Craven.
Venom. No. So our top 5. So I guess I'll kick it off because it's a movie that we just talked about last week. It's a movie I had a lot of fun with. I think it's a crowd-pleasing movie.
Oh, okay.
It's a movie that I love this franchise.
I would be sad for you if it wasn't in your top 5.
Yeah. This is Bad Boys Ride or Die. We just talked about it. We talk about the chemistry between Martin and Will. It's never wavered for 30 years since the first movie in '95. Of course, with these latest movies, Adil and Bilal have taken over the directing. I think they've done a great job with directing these two actors and the entire cast. The stories that they're telling, how it transitions from the third movie and carries a lot of those story beats into this movie, and it just has fun with it. It has so much fun with it.
We didn't talk about this last week, but I feel like with the third and fourth chapters of the Bad Boys franchise, the whole saga has now been elevated to Lethal Weapon status. And I love revisiting Lethal Weapon because it feels like such a family. Like it feels like going home again when you watch the Lethal Weapon movies. And I feel like that's how it is now with the Bad Boys films.
Yeah, so that's my number 5 of the year. But we talked about that. Let's go to your number 5. What do you have?
So my number 5 is a movie that came out really quietly. It played in a few theaters. We did not talk about it at any point this year on this show. It's currently available for rent on demand and VOD. It's called What You Wish For. I first saw this film last year at the Fantastic Fest Film Festival, but thankfully it's now available for everyone. And it's a movie that I would suggest our viewers not watch any trailer of.
Okay, don't read anything about it.
Don't read about it. I'm going to say very little about it. It stars Nick Stahl. He plays a chef who is visiting his friend in some unknown South American country. And he's going to visit his buddy Jack, and his buddy Jack is a private chef, and what Jack does is he comes to a location, they're going to have a party, and he's sent to the house a week before the party and so that he can scout the produce and make a meal.
Okay.
And he's making so much money doing this. The title's called What You Wish For. It's a noir. It goes places. You won't forget it.
Okay, and it's on VOD.
It's on VOD right now.
So I'll definitely keep that on my radar and put that on my list to watch. My number 4 is a movie that we've also talked about that came out, Dev Patel's directorial debut, Monkey Man.
Yeah.
I like the story of vengeance. I like the idea of this story of this one man who is on this path of vengeance, and while he's on this journey, he kind of becomes this kind of beacon or this symbol for the common man, for the common people who are affected by this corrupt government. And I don't know, there's something, and these are stories that we've seen before, but Dev Patel just brings something new. And I think it's the specificity of the culture that he brings into it. I love the way that he uses music with the movie. And that third act is still something I think about to this day, and how we kind of get to some of those final moments in this movie.
The action doesn't quite go as far as something like John Wick.
No.
I wish it was pushed a little bit further.
Same. I agree.
And I would say the same thing about some of the ideas as well. But the visuals are strong, the performance is great, and it does feel like, okay, Dev Patel showed up to play.
Exactly. So yeah, that's my number 4 right now. Before we get out of this segment, let's talk about your number 4.
My number 4 is another kind of creepy, uncomfortable at times thriller with noir elements for sure.
Okay.
It's Love Lies Bleeding, starring Katie O'Brien and Kristen Stewart. Directed by Rose Glass.
Yes.
And I think all 3 of those people are also bringing it. This is a statement movie. Like it feels like an outburst of creativity in a way that we haven't seen in a while from this genre.
Yeah.
We talked last week about Hitman and Hitman not being afraid to be unreal.
Yeah.
And this film embraces the surreal, embraces metaphor,
Yeah.
and in doing that, elevates itself over this kind of thriller romance that you've seen before.
All right, so when we return, we're going to finish out our top 5 movies of the year so far with our top 3, so stay right there.
Today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory, a victory that is there for the taking. Grab it.
Now that was a great halftime speech. Let's go win.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
All right, so we are back with B&B. So we're going to continue our discussion with our top movies of the year. So, Brad, we talked about our 5 and our 4. So, yeah, let's get right into number 3. Who you want to kick off this segment?
I'll do it.
You kick it?
I want to kick things off.
All right, kick it off.
I'm sticking with crime.
Okay.
My favorite films this year have been crime films.
Okay.
This is another one that we have not discussed previously on the B&B Movie Review Show, and I think that is a travesty. You should have gotten it on the schedule, but you didn't, and I blame you for it.
I'm sorry.
It's Last Stop at Yuma County. From a debut filmmaker, Francis Galuppi. Francis Galuppi is going on to make the next Evil Dead film.
Really?
And I'm crazy excited about it because he shoots the heck out of The Last Stop at Yuma County.
You've been talking a lot about
I
this
have.
movie.
You hear that title and you go like, oh, is it some kind of like Western? No, it is a noir. It's another one of those.
Okay.
It's about Jim Cummings from Thunder Road, and he shows up in one of the Halloween films. He would hate the fact that I just said, like, oh, he's from one of the Halloween movies. But he plays a knife salesman. It's like 1979.
Okay.
He is on his way on the road. He stops at a gas station to fill his car up with gas, but the gas truck hasn't arrived, and the attendant, played by Faizon Love, says, well, we're waiting on the truck, but we don't know where it's going to be.
Okay.
You might as well just go hang out in the diner. So he goes to the diner. There's a few other people, same situation. But if you've been paying attention to the opening credits, you've seen that the gas truck has driven off the road, and it's not coming. So it's all about this pressure cooker that is this hot diner in Yuma County. The violence and the way it plays out is incredibly surprising. It's a morality play. It's about putting the audience in a story. Like, what would you do in this situation?
Yeah. I always love movies like that. Like I love these movies that kind of play out in one location, that kind of play like a stage play.
Yeah.
Like always kind of respond to films like that. And you talked about this before, and I know it's on VOD, just like your number 5 pick as well. So this is one I definitely need to watch.
And you've seen this location before. You've seen it in Identity. You've seen it in The Devil's Rejects. It's a famous diner location.
Okay.
But it doesn't look like any of those other movies because of Francis Galupi.
Okay, perfect. I'll definitely check that one out. My number 3 is a controversial pick. Some may say Alex Garland. It's Civil War.
Well, the movie's not really about the politics of how we got to this Civil War.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it is and it isn't. Like, it doesn't really want to address it head on, but I think if you're paying attention to this movie, you do understand this film's politics.
Yeah.
And to me, what it's about is, like, what's the point of journalism? What's the point of capturing stories? What's the point of making movies?
No, and I think that was the real takeaway for me, was the journalism aspect of it, and seeing, like, what is the point of, putting out the news or telling these stories? Like, is it going to change anything? Is it going to change? Like you
are
mentioned,
people listening?
Yeah, like we
when they
talked
watch
about
Star
it.
Trek,
Yeah.
Are they paying attention to what Star Trek is saying?
And we talked about it off air. Are the stories that we're telling, is it going to change the hearts and minds of the people that are listening to it, that are watching it? And if not, then what's the purpose of it?
Yeah. Well, you know what Boots Riley would say to that? Boots Riley said he's not interested in changing people's minds. He's interested in creating a rallying cry. And that's what art can be.
Yeah,
So I think that's something to think about too when watching Civil War.
Yeah. So real quick, I guess we got to get through our 2 and 1. What's your number 2?
Number 2, I have to go with a number 2. I got to go with Dune.
Okay, Dune Part 2. So I'll just say that is my number 1 movie.
Okay. All right. This could have been my number 1 as well.
Yeah.
It's an epic. It feels like a movie. It came out at a point when I was like, do I even like cinema anymore? January to March, it was just like, movies. What's the point? And then you watch Dune Part 2 and you go like, this is Lawrence of Arabia. Like, this is cinema.
Yeah.
And there's so much excitement behind the filmmaking, plus the story, and how we should all feel about Paul. Like, is he a messiah figure that we should be following?
Exactly. And I love how the movie kind of subverts that, where you're really following this character. I mean, from Dune Part 1, really, you're really, kind of like, the audience is really like rooting for Paul, and you feel sorry for him, like what happens to his family. But by the time we get to the end of this movie, you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Is that the solution?
Yeah. But I loved all that. And going to your point, like all the different departments, it's just a masterclass in filmmaking from all aspects of it. So that's what I really just loved about Dune Part 2. So my number 2, that was my number 1. My number 2 is Challengers.
Oh, guess what?
That's
my number 1.
All right, so let's talk about that.
I mean, it's a fantastic film.
Yeah.
I think when people saw this trailer originally, they were all like, oh, we're going to get a 3-way. It's all about what happens in that motel room.
Yeah.
And no, it's about what happens on that court. And we do get a 3-way, but it's in that court.
It's on the tennis court. And I love the way that it plays with time and the way it goes back and forth and just the, I don't know, just the soap opera and the dynamic between these 3 characters.
The comedy of it all, right?
And the comedy.
It's a secret comedy.
It really is. The movie is hilarious, and it's I talked about this with my number 5 with Bad Boys. We talk about a crowd-pleasing movie, an entertaining movie. This goes right into that category. This is an entertaining and crowd-pleasing movie.
And Luca Guadagnino, the director, shoots the heck out of it. I've never seen tennis play like this before.
Never.
And I don't think I could ever watch tennis again in the same way.
No,
like I need it to be this.
Yeah.
Put the camera inside the ball, please.
This has ruined tennis movies in the future.
Yeah.
So all right. So those are our top 5 movies of the year so far. So when we return, we're going to look at the back half of 2024 and talk about our most anticipated. Stay right there.
After rent and power, I can get groceries. It's sad to say food comes last. Anna from Texas. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
This place that I call I want to explain it to her.
All right, welcome back to the show. So we got our top 5 of the year, and now we are going to talk about our most anticipated movies. So, Brad.
Yeah. So our top 5, undeniable. No one would argue with us. Those
No,
are
not at
obviously
all.
the best films of the year.
Easily the best.
So we got to talk about the movies that are the most exciting coming out in 2024.
So 6 months left in the year, man.
I'm excited. We
All right.
have Axel Foley's coming back, Bryan.
He
Axel
is.
F. Beverly Hills Cop on Netflix.
I wasn't even thinking about streaming movies, but yeah, you know what? We just talked about Bad Boys, and
I
then
know.
we got Beverly
Bad
Hills
Boys,
Cop.
Yeah, that showed me that you can come back to old characters, same kind of dynamic, and do it right. And I wasn't crazy about the first Axel F trailer, but that new trailer that came out, I was like, okay, Eddie Murphy still got it. This could be good.
The fact that we're getting, I love the dynamic between Foley, Rosewood, and Taggart.
We have a lot of faith, right? We have a lot of faith and love in this franchise.
Yeah.
I got a lot of hope.
Yeah.
Let's bring it home. Let's watch Axel F. Let's have a good time with Axel F.
Yeah, no, most definitely. So, next month, which is July, two movies I'm really excited for is, one is Twisters. I'm a huge fan of the original Twister back in 1996.
Baffling.
I know.
Baffling.
Bill Paxton, Helen Hunt. I really, really enjoyed that movie. We talked about Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell is on a streak right now.
Yeah.
Lee Isaac Chung is directing it.
Yeehaw,
he's getting
America. I like Lee Isaac Chung. He directed Minari, one of my favorite films of the last 5 years.
There you go.
And then they scoop him up for Twisters.
I know.
And maybe he could do something interesting with it. The trailer just does not do it for me. The concept hasn't done it for me. And I didn't really like the first one. You enjoy this movie. You have a good time. You tell me I have to review it on this show. I will.
We have to review it on the show.
Okay, I will. But I'm not excited, Bryan.
Oh man, you're breaking my heart.
Sorry.
Excuse me. So yeah, that's part of my Twister love. The big movie of the year, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, sure.
Wow,
No,
really?
No. Don't even sound dismissive. I'm looking forward to Deadpool and Wolverine, just like Axel F. That second trailer when we finally got to see some Logan in it. It's hard not to be excited about it.
It really is. This is kind of like the movie of the summer, possibly the movie of the year. That it's so much buzz around this movie. Tickets went on sale weeks ago.
It feels like stakes are really high for Disney and Deadpool and Wolverine.
It does.
Yeah.
They have a lot riding on this, but tickets went on sale weeks ago, and theaters are already selling out. So the hype and the buzz is big.
Do you have your ticket? Because we're going to be in San Diego when it drops. Have you bought your ticket?
I did.
You did?
I bought one ticket.
At Mission Valley?
Mission Valley.
Okay, I'm going to go buy my ticket too. Because I don't think I'm going to be here for the press screening. So I think I have to watch it in San Diego Comic-Con. And what a great San Diego Comic-Con movie.
Yeah, I got a 7:30 show Thursday at Mission Valley.
All right.
In San
Tell
Diego.
me what seat you're in. I'll try to get next to you.
It might
possible.
be.
It's
I
probably
know.
gone.
It's probably gone.
I messed up, guys.
It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Anything else this summer or in the fall?
Let's get to August. Oh, actually, no, let's not get to August yet. Maxine, Ty West's new
Yes, I know
slasher
you're
film.
really excited about that.
I liked X, but Pearl I loved. And now we take the character of Maxine from X and we tie it in with the movie business.
Yeah.
We tie it in with the Night Stalker, 1985.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of, obviously there's already a lot of buzz around it, but I think this film is going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah,
and
it
turn
feels
them
that way.
on to X and Pearl, which they should have already been turned on to.
It feels that way, and you're right. And I'm one of those people because I haven't seen X or Pearl, and those movies are on cable right now.
Bryan,
and
I need to know what you think of Pearl.
Okay.
Like, you're going to watch X and you'll be like, okay, slasher, whatever.
Yeah.
Pearl.
Pearl.
Man.
Okay.
Pearl.
No, I'm definitely going to watch those because you're right. Maxine, this feels like a summer movie. There's a lot of hype with a lot of buzz around that.
Huge cast.
It's a
Giancarlo
incredible-
Esposito, Kevin Bacon,
Yeah.
Elizabeth Debicki.
It's a huge cast. So it's definitely on my radar. So I want to go back and watch those other movies. So I'm definitely going to check those out. I guess another one I'm looking forward to. I don't know if there's anything in August. I'm kind of going down the calendar.
There's my birthday movie, Bryan, in August, which is Alien Romulus. Fede Alvarez.
How could I forget that?
Doing the Alien franchise. And then again, let's just go by trailer. That last trailer for it. this is the Alien movie I want.
I
Not
know.
Covenant, not Prometheus. This is it.
This is it. And this feels like it's going back to the aesthetic of those first two movies.
Yeah.
And within the timeline of Alien, I believe this takes place between Alien and Aliens.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Let's go.
Fede Alvarez feels like he's the right choice
Yes,
to
he
do.
does.
I can tell you're
I'm so excited. Why is it in August already?
I know, right? So yeah, and then you may not be on board with this one. Just like with Twister, I was a huge fan of this, and this one came out back in the 80s. We talked about Beverly Hills Axel F coming back after 40 years. This is almost 40 years later. I know you're racking your brain.
What?
Beetlejuice.
Oh, okay. All right, sure.
No?
My mom taught me never to say anything bad about somebody if you didn't have anything nice to say. So
No, I'm looking forward to it. Tim Burton is coming back. They've gone out of their way to really try to show us that he's going back to practical sets, practical effects. Yeah, I'm not falling for that anymore. I mean, we'll see when the movie comes out. But
I'm going to watch it.
I did enjoy.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the trailer. I'm a huge fan. That Beetlejuice is a movie I grew up on, and I loved watching it as a kid.
Yeah.
So, is it a little too late?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. You know, I love Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
There's no performance quite like that one.
No, it's not.
I'm not won over by the trailer the way that you seem to be.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to watch it with you. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, all right, yeah. We're reviewing it on the show, so.
Okay.
All right. So when we return, we're going to continue our discussion of the most anticipated movies for 2024, so stay right there.
There's more.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
All right, and we are back to continue our discussion of the most anticipated movies for 2024 for the rest of the year. So, Brad,
Yeah.
all right, we ended with Beetlejuice.
We
not
sure
not too excited about it. I am. Anything else that you can think of this fall that you're excited about?
So we are getting Gladiator 2. That's happening.
Yeah.
That's
I think
a reality.
It is a reality. I am looking forward to it. They did show some footage at CinemaCon earlier this year.
How are you feeling about Ridley Scott?
You know, Ridley Scott lately has been hit or miss for me, but I like the original.
You went from I like.
Like and love can,
In that sentence, you downgraded immediately.
You know what? No, I love Gladiator.
Okay.
And I do. I really do love that movie. I think Hans Zimmer's score is amazing. Seeing the arc of
Maximus?
Maximus, Russell Crowe's character in that movie. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do because Maximus has passed on and we're going to follow his son. We have a powerhouse of a cast. I mean, we have Denzel Washington. We have Pedro Pascal is in it. Connie Nielsen is coming back. And I think Ridley Scott can really knock this one out. And I hear that it's massive in scope. Yeah. But Napoleon was massive in scope. And we saw how that turned out.
Napoleon diminished my enthusiasm for Gladiator 2 a little bit. But I'm so curious about what they can do so many years later.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, part of me still wishes they did that Nick Cave script where Maximus went to hell, but we're not getting that. That's fine.
Okay.
Right? So I'm curious. I'm excited about it. I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm trying to remain positive.
Okay. Measured expectations.
There you go.
I like that. Anything else you're excited about this fall?
The Wild Robot, talking about the animated
Yeah, we
world.
talk about animated movies, and that's coming from, if I'm not mistaken, DreamWorks.
Yep.
And we've talked about animation on this show a lot and how they really have kind of pushed the medium outside of kind of like, you know, your just kind of studio animation movies. And this movie feels like it's kind of doing something similar to that, kind of like what Puss in Boots did, The Last Wish. And the story feels like it's going to be one of those stories that's really going to pull at the heartstrings. It kind of feels a little bit, it has some shades of Iron Giant in it a little bit.
Iron Giant, a little Wall-E in there.
Wall-E,
protect the planet,
yeah.
protect the things on this planet.
Yeah.
We're all in it together.
Yeah.
We're all one family.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that I'm concerned about right now.
Yeah.
That's what I want to embrace.
Yeah.
Talking about animated films, extremely excited about Venom: The Last Dance. Tom Hardy and Tom Hardy doing their thing. There's a Venom horse.
Are you really looking forward to that?
I'm looking forward that it's the last dance.
Okay, you say it like that, yeah. Then I'm definitely looking forward.
I don't
to
know. The latest trailer had me chuckling.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, let's not pretend like we're better than The Last Dance.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, Venom. Okay.
Although we are getting Venom, there are some other comic book movies coming out.
Joker.
Folie à Deux. Yeah.
Musical.
I'm
Todd
curious.
Phillips,
I'm curious about
Lady
that.
Gaga.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it. I liked the first Joker.
I liked it too.
Like the conversation around the first
Yeah,
Joker.
I could go without that.
It is incel cinema.
Yeah.
I try to figure out if the filmmakers are in on that or not. So
Still,
I'll
yeah.
continue to probe that with the sequel.
Yeah, but the trailer was amazing. I thought visually
The first one was also visually attractive too.
Yeah.
I really hope this movie embraces the musical
musical
side of
aspect
things.
of
And
it.
the trailer shows a little of that, but it doesn't really go in. And I'm hoping that the movie does.
I hope it leans into it really. I hope it really leans into it. So yeah, I'm curious about that one. Excited to see it. Excited to see where they take that story, but more so curious to see how they execute it. Another animated movie is Lord of the Rings. Now, I haven't been a big fan of the Rings of Power show.
I have. I've been really enjoying Rings of Power.
Yeah, I haven't really been able to get into that. But again, going to animation, they're doing a War of the Rohirrim.
Yeah.
And again, I was excited about another animated movie, and then I saw the trailer, and my anticipation kind of went to zero.
Transformers 1.
Was it Transformers 1? So I'm kind of reserving until I see a trailer for Lord of the Rings to see what their approach to this movie is going to be. Anything else you can?
Nosferatu. Robert Eggers, close it out. Christmas Day, I think it comes out.
Christmas Day.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe, Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah.
What's not to like? I've enjoyed every single Robert Eggers film.
I can't wait to see footage from this because every time I think of Nosferatu, I always think of just the original film.
What about Shadow of the Vampire with Willem Dafoe?
Oh, I've never seen that.
Oh, a movie. They're making Nosferatu. It's all about the making of
Oh,
Nosferatu.
okay.
But let's
I've heard
pretend
about it.
that the vampire creature is an actual vampire played by Willem Dafoe.
Okay, yeah. So I'm curious to see how Robert Eggers is going to update the movie in like a visual style, if it's going to kind of harken back to that era, which I believe it will.
I have no idea. I know it'll be a Robert Eggers movie. And that's
exactly,
rad.
and that's exciting. Yeah, that's exciting. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So and then we have other things coming out this year.
Brad Pitt,
Wolves.
George Clooney.
Yeah. I was curious about that one. We have Tom Watts directing it, right?
Tom Watts.
Who am I thinking?
I don't know.
I don't know. His brother.
Tom Waltz writes The Last Ronin. You're a Ninja Turtle.
There we
Maybe
go.
That's what you were thinking of.
There we go. But no, Wolves, when that trailer came out, I didn't really know what this movie was going to be. I love how it feels like an extension of like the Ocean's movies.
Yeah, the
having
vibe.
that vibe, having George Clooney and Brad Pitt, their chemistry seems to be there. So
but with like added antagonism.
Yes, yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. That one seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. So it's a lot coming out this year. So like we always say, just keep our expectations, kind of measured, and then hopefully.
I look forward to talking to you in 6 months when the year is done and we've got our top 10 and we're like, you know what, 2024, one of the best years in recent memories.
I hope so. I want to say that every year.
Same.
All right, guys. So yeah, those are our thoughts for our most anticipated movies for the remainder of 2024. And you also got to hear our top 10 of the year so
Top 5.
far. Oh, top 5. You are right.
Which 5 and 5 does equal 10.
5 and 5 does equal 10. So yeah, we talked about a lot of movies today. So thank you for joining us on this latest episode of B&B Movie Reviews. Come be a part of the conversation. If you have questions, suggestions, feel free to email us at bnbmoviereviews@gmail.com. And with that, we will see you at the movies.